guys. Looks like we are live.
Sirius XM 40s Junction.
There we go. Hey guys. Thought I'd put the sign up first just to let you know I was getting ready. So, see who's here this morning. Let's see, we got Dan, we got Ryan, we got Honey's Honeymade. Hey, welcome to all of you. Please hit the like button if you get a chance. As you can see here, I am I'm wearing something just to make sure that I'm a little more protected today. I will be wearing my helmet also. But let's make sure you got a good view here. I'm trying to make this adjustment so you can get a really great view. And there, let's see how this works. So, as you can see, I've got a pretty big piece here, and it weighs in at about 15 pounds. This is the piece that you saw the other day me cutting on a short video, and I've got its little brother here ready to go also. This is just a little piece, and we might be able to get to that later. And I got about 5 more pieces from that one Burl. This one, I went ahead and straightened it out a little bit because it is very heavy, and because it's very heavy, this little piece right here is throwing it way off when I try and get the speed up at all. So I'm at like 500, and you see it already starts to wiggle just a little bit. So I've got to be really careful with this. I'm going to go a little slow at first until I get some of this off of here. And I'm going to try and set my tenon. I'm going to do a tenon. I'm not going to do a mortise on this. I'm going to do a tenon because I need a big hold on it. We'll see how that goes. It's already dulled one blade just trying to get this in the round just a little bit. So see what you got going here. It is going to get interesting. You can see this is very burly, but it's also very solid at the same time. So, you know, we'll see what happens if all goes to hell. I got plenty of other pieces to turn, but I thought we'd give this a shot, and sort of like going to the car race. You want to see who gets the wreck first. So let's give it a try and see what we can do. I'm going to turn the light on here so you can see a little bit more. I'm going to move this just a little bit out of my way if I can. And and see how that goes, okay? So let's set this in here first. It helps if you put your helmet on. So forgive me. There we go, now the helmet's on. I just want to get this set. Now I'll stop digging in. So, first trick I'm going to show you. You can use this. Make sure you've got a flat surface. When I take one of my long ones, I got a longer one here. When I hold that across, I don't see any light gaps in there. That means I've got a nice flat surface to start with. And that way when I'm cutting this away, I'm going to have a flat surface. That's just a real handy way of doing it. Use the tools you got with you. Let's see if I'm going to just straighten this out just a little bit more, then we'll go to the gouge. Okay, go to my trusty gouge here. See if we can't go up the size just a little bit, and maybe I can get the speed up a little bit. Okay, now we can move that a little bit. This one cleared. What are you guys seeing here? Zoom us out a bit. I'll see if I can pull it back a bit, okay? I'll see if I can pull this back just a little bit, because it is, yeah, I know it is a little close. Let me see if I can do that. Give me a chance here. Oops. There. Does that work better, guys? Let me know what you think. There. Now you can see, should be able to see the whole thing. Okay, let's see if we can go up here a little bit. You know, that worked. Ooh. Yeah, we're taking a lot of that out of there now. It should start to ride a little better. See if we can. Okay, is that doing better? Hey, Timber. Thank you guys for all coming in tonight. I guess I should have checked. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. Thanks. All right. I didn't want to be too loud or too quiet here, but I want to be able to hear me. So, okay, let's see. Whew. Well, I'm covered now. Let's see. Let's see how we can do this. Boy, that has a lot of pieces in here. There. What do you think? Is this a good enough shape, you think? Do you want to go see if I can show you the shape a little bit better? What do you think? That gonna work? Okay. Now I gotta get back and work on that tenon some more. So let's work on the tenon a little bit more. Yeah, gotta get to this. There we go. Okay, let's see. I need it just a little bit more down. There we go. There you can see a little bit better. There we go. Now I managed to take that out without losing much of the size of the overall piece. Let's see where I am on my tenon here. We're going to use this puppy. And I can go down just a little bit more, it looks like. So I'm going to put it on just a touch. Yeah, it'll be fine. Let's see how that does. Maybe just a little bit more. Okay, we're going to take that down just a little bit more. Okay, that's going to be the hold. We're going to cross our fingers. Hope that works. Okay. So, now a little refining before we go on. I think I'll try and refine this edge just a little bit. And what are we going to use for that? Well, tell you what, just to make everybody happy here who has a carbide tool, I'll use my carbide tool to kind of refine this edge just a little bit, and we'll see how that does. Just very light strokes, get a little look out of it. And I'm watching up here on the top the whole time. I'm not watching down where I'm turning, where I'm cutting it. Now to see where the form is, you're going to look at the top and see the shape forming. Okay. Okay. There. It's actually pretty smooth to the touch, even without using any sanding. See what you guys are seeing over here. Actually, I've got three chucks. I've got a one-way. I've got the Nova chuck. Use my Nova chuck right here. And I've got one-way, and I've got this is actually I think this one actually is the one I got at Harbor Freight. I think this is a Harbor Freight one. It's pretty substantial. That thing weighs in. That's pretty hefty. But I figured I got a pretty hefty bowl here, so we'll meet strength with strength and go with it. Harbor Freight makes a pretty darn good kit, actually. Any other questions here? Yeah, please hit the like button if you can, or hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. We take everybody. Let's see. I'm going to take and sand this just a little bit. And some people have asked me about this sander. This is just a Ryobi sander. Nothing fancy. But it has a couple advantages that I like. One of the advantages is I can put both hands on it. I can use two hands to hold it. And also it's more balanced than using a regular drill. You can buy these pads on Amazon. They're not very expensive at all. And what I do is I mark the grits for the sanding pads that I'm using in each one. And I just want to kind of smooth that surface a little bit. I'm going to turn this on. Not as crucial on a bowl like this as it would be on some others because you've got so many things breaking it up. You don't really have these sanding lines that you would have on some other bowls, but I also don't want to create any. Also, I can run this in reverse. Do a little reverse sanding. And I should probably turn this on. Excuse the noise for a second. You'll be able to see the the sawdust actually going up into this, I think. Go back the other way, and I think we can go up in speed a little bit now. Yeah. Now it's just to get the little rough spots off. Then I'm going to go to this one. So 120. It is really hard wood, and it is really sanding very, very well. I don't think you're going to have to go past 240 on this. So I'm going to do a little back and forth. Of course, this is a little bit of an end-grain piece right in here. There's a little rough spot. See if we can get that. And we can turn that annoying sound back off for you. Okay. Yeah, reverse is really helpful, I gotta tell you, because it really does catch, especially on something like this where you've got holes all over, it really does catch the grain going the other direction and really does smooth it out for you. Hey Wilson, thank you for being here. Yeah, well, Canadians just take a little bit longer to reverse things than other people, that's all. That's okay. It's okay, Timber. It's a nice warm 100 today. It's supposed to be 107 tomorrow. So summer's not over with, especially in this area. If you see Ryan sweating a lot on Saturday, it's because it's still 107. And I don't know how much he cools his shop down. Okay, well, I think I'm going to put a little bit of it, not much, I just want to dab a little finish on this just to see what this is looking like. We can take a peek. So for that, I'm going to use this sanding sealer. Sometimes I use other items, but this is what I'll use this time. And you can buy a box of these chip brushes at Harbor Freight for about like $9-10. So they're super cheap. And oh yeah, you can already see the color start to come out in this just a little bit. What do you think of that, guys? brush really gets into all the little nooks and crannies for you. After I'm done putting this on, I'll wipe it off just a little bit, spread it out. Just kind of gives me an idea of what's going on. And if I have a piece of that I'm turning that has some hairline cracks in it, sometimes these fill that in, or they present them to me so I can see them better. It's a good way before you go turning your bowl around and putting it on the tenon to be able to fix any little things that might pop up. So you're not trying to do it when you have a little less hold on it than you do with a base plate. So get that in there. Yeah, tenon looks pretty strong. I'm looking at tenon, make sure there's not a lot of holes in it or something that are going to give way when I try and put pressure on it. Worried a little bit about this right here. So when I put it on, I'll try and put the gap right there so it's not pressing. Well, I'll probably put the face on so it's not stressing it. Okay. These are some of those surgical cloths I mentioned in my last time we did a live. They're lint-free. They're not very expensive. You can get a whole bunch of them. Yes, they were used in surgery at one time, but you know, they're all laundered and sanitized and everything. There's nothing on them or anything like that. And they make really good towels for this kind of work. For applying finishes and all. So what do you think of that color now? Yeah, well, actually, we're going to turn a little piece of somewhat green wood later if you want to watch that too. Green turning is a whole different ball game. But this really makes it pop, doesn't it? And this is going to dry, so it's not going to stay quite this look. But this is going to suck into the wood, and it'll make it easier to apply a finish later. But I really like how it makes everything kind of pop out, and you can really see any little mistakes or whatever. I want to make sure I get into all the little holes. Right in there. Right in there. Hopefully none of these holes are too deep and we can actually have a good solid bowl when we're all done here. That's always the concern when you're working with burls, is you don't know what's inside. In fact, you could encounter rocks. When I was doing the chainsawing, there were a lot of rocks possibilities in there, but fortunately I didn't find any. But you always worry about your chainsaw hitting that, and that can lead to a lot of trouble. So, okay, I do see a couple little things I'll need to fix. But let's get this wiped down a little. Of course, when you do this, it goes any loose stuff on here comes flying at you too. So you got to be careful with that. And always make sure you go across it so you don't leave any lines. Okay, there we go. And that's all we do in that prep. Now, one of the problems with using this is it does ruin your brush right away because it gets very, very, very hard very quickly. Now you can put them in a plastic bag, and that will preserve them for a little while. So if you're going to be using it more during the same project, sometimes you can save it for that. So I'm going to set this aside for now. There we go. All right. We'll take one final look, and I think we can turn this around. So let's take this off. If you remember one of my videos a long time ago, I told you about these little rubber washers. Got a whole box of them, and I use them, and that makes this a lot easier. So as you're turning, this doesn't start to attach itself to the metal here. And this creates a break, which actually makes it a lot easier to remove. So, okay, let's see if we can take this off. Cross your fingers, nothing breaks. Oops. That one probably seen better days there. I wouldn't recommend using these screws more than 2 or 3 times. As they do get under a lot of pressure. Plus they get a little bit dull. So there we go. All right, we're committed now. Put that on. Put this on. And I would caution, some people tend to over tighten. You don't want to over tighten. You want to tighten. You don't want to start crushing the wood, because when you crush the wood, you can actually make it looser in the long term. So let's see how this is turning. Pretty darn good. I've heard just a very tiny little wobble in it. Not enough to really notice. So, good. I can push in, tighten, tighten. Let's see if that'll hold. Fingers crossed, everybody. Any other comments? Hi, cats and dogs. I have to turn your, yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, this Burl's been sitting around for a long time. If you like the music in the background, I picked some 40s music this time, just so everybody knows. It's, you know, that way you don't have to worry about copyrights and things like that. Not gonna get in trouble. Let's see. I think I want to be about like that. Let's see how we can do here. Okay. I always like to establish the outside first. I think we're going to go for kind of a something like this. This is called Let the Flakes Fly, right? Well, let me turn this around so you can see it a little better. See if that's a little bit better. There we go. Wow, that is, I'm gonna have to go thinner on that. Not because of the speed so much as it is just really hard and gappy. Whoa. And there we go. So let's see what happens. Well, nothing really too bad. This can be fixed. This too can be fixed. I might have gotten a little carried away there. Sometimes you can try and go ask for a little bit more than it's willing to give you. Okay. Okay. Hey Daniel, thank you for subscribing. I see that down here. Well, just goes to show that we all get oopses, just like I've told you guys in the past. That one really didn't give us any kind of warning, though. It just kind of went all at once. So let me make sure we're on here good. Okay. And that's kind of why I have this wall here, because if you notice, the wall kind of kept it here and didn't let it go flying across the room. I'd hate to ruin the TV set I got up on the wall over here. So let's try a little bit slower and taking a little bit less off at a time. See if we can't coax it out of here a little bit. Okay. Check myself. Yeah. Once it's come off once, you start to check it a little bit more often. You get a little smarter. Ugh. I know we were talking earlier on Ryan's broadcast about the gouge and about the using different tools, and you'll notice when I'm turning the gouge, it's going in, and then I'm slowly turning it so that the bevel goes this way. So I'm cutting with the point and the edge like this, and so I get down here, and it can hog out a lot of wood. I'm a little careful about doing that on the way this is holding. I don't want to go as deep as this probably, and you have to be careful with it. But you can take out pretty good pieces of wood pretty quickly with a gouge like this. Okay, so let's switch. Let's use the carbide for a minute here and just see how that goes. And I'm using the round carbide, by the way. Okay, well, that tells me two things. One, this is brand new. This is a brand new tip on here, and it's nice and sharp, which means I'm probably getting dull after doing the outside. This probably needs a little picking up on my gouge. But as you can see, it's starting to make a nice smooth cut. Got a ways to go in here. Let's see if we can make some progress. You know, something I'm noticing, and this is typical of Burl's, is because there's some soft spots here. It looks like there's holes here. What's happening is it's denser here. So even though I've got a nice round shape and it should be able to spin pretty evenly, what you've got is you've got different weights within inside here. And until I get the weight down on this bowl, I'm going to have trouble getting the speed up a lot higher because I'm going to keep running into that problem of having it whip around with a heavy piece and then it goes to the light part and then the heavy part and the light part. So even though you have things already rounded, you still have this issue. But I have been able to get the speed up some now. Slowly. Okay. Ooh, that really smells. There's something right there. I gotta get past. What that is in there, but there's something right in there I've got to get past. I'm going to take a quick break here and see what you guys have to say. Yeah, happens to all this. There's 50 people in here. That's good. Let's get up there. Let's see if we can get some more likes along with that. Appreciate it. The shavings really do fly. You're right, but the problem is you're not getting. Take a look at what the shavings are like. They're all bits and pieces because you don't have a solid piece to get a nice curl out of. I've had a couple of places where I got curls, as you can see right here. Let's get that a little closer. But most of the time it's just spinning this, and the floor is covered with it actually, and so am I. And I got this collar used apron on that covers everything, so it helps a little bit. Let's see if we can't get this. A lot of holes right there, and that's where it's grabbing. I have to go really light through there. I'll try and angle it a little more. See if we can angle it this way a little bit. Come on, stop that. Had to put it on its edge a little bit more. I'm gonna try something else for a second here, just to see. Here's a scraper, good sized one. You see what a scraper does? You see the difference in what I'm getting off of there? See, as opposed to the carbide, I was getting more ribbons, and it tends to cut just a little bit nicer. Unfortunately, the problem is you can't keep that edge on very long on the scraper. So that's why it's only a refining tool. For something like this, I would use it mostly as a refining tool, and not a tool for going through the whole process with. But I think it'd be more of a problem than it's worth. But we do also have a negative rake scraper that we can use. Now, negative rake scraper is not really necessary for this part of the job. But as you can see, that also refine the bottom. And the negative rake scraper, if you notice the edge here, we have two different angles, and this is the cutting edge. And it's only going to catch the stuff that actually needs to be sheared off. It's not going to it's not going to dig in. So right now I have a pretty smooth bottom to this, and that's the way we'd probably finish this bowl on the bottom. But right now let's see if we can't go back to, and I'm checking again, go back to where we were making some progress in this. Remember that sound that I talked about? How as you get to the outside, it sounds faster because it is spinning. This outside is spinning faster than the inside, so you're taking more wood. Well, actually, it's spinning at the same speed, but you're moving more wood on the outside. And that's what I thought. This is still in here. I'm not getting past it. I was hoping to get into some hard wood past this and it would go a little bit easier than the turning.
Serious?
I think I'm going to switch up to a different. This is one of the new ones I got from BM Woods turning, and we'll see how it goes on this. Okay, it's got a little bit shallower. It's not quite as aggressive of an angle on it as the other one. And I just want to see how it works. Yeah. It's not as aggressive. Ooh. Yeah. I think that's going to be better off on the bottom of the bowl. See what you guys are seeing over here. I do have a CBN. In fact, I'll show you in a minute. I'll probably use the CBN and sharpen up this a little bit, and we'll take the camera over there if we can, or at least try and show you what I'm doing. This is, I think, I believe a 50-degree bevel on this, and 50 degrees is a really nice degree to use. I like it a lot. This is really getting rough in there. That is really, whew. You know, we're getting, look at all this. We're getting a lot of breakage in here. I'm trying to get all the way to the bottom, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Let's go back to the carbide and try to make this mighty stroke. Anyhow, that's coming well. Yeah, see, it's a little bit too thick right there, right in this area. I gotta go down just a little bit more in there. Ooh. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. That's a pretty good thing. So what do you think? Do you think I should go thinner? Or do you think that's about right, guys? Let me know here. I'm gonna watch for a second. Do you think that's about right thickness, guys? Keep it as is. Okay. Alrighty. Well, let's get back in there and now I got to make sure I follow that slope here because it dips in now. So I gotta follow that curve as I go in here now. The thing is really starting to dull. Ooh. And my carbide was starting to come off. It actually loosened the screw. All that vibration loosened the screw. So fair warning, people, keep an eye on your screws too. And that is really flaming hot right now too. Okay, it's time to change this angle a little bit. Oops. get in there a little bit better. Ooh. Look what's happening here. I'm getting more and more and more break out as I go. I'm gonna have to be really careful here. I can't be too aggressive. Ooh. Well, yeah, let's see. Go back to the gouge here. Well, it was just a chunk that just came flying at me. Let's see what's coming off here. Oh yeah, we got, wow. So we got big hole here. We got holes here, here, here. Well, no wonder it's beating me up. Okay, well, we're getting near the bottom, so I think we can work this out. I just need to be really careful. There. I think I showed it who's boss, but we'll see. Holy cow, look at this. It's tear out all through here. I got to take this little rise out and tie here, but I think I'm down to right about here on the bowl. I just need to kind of clean that out now. I think at this point I'm going to have to go in with the big boy here. I'm going to go in with the big boy here and see how we can do this and get this done. Change just a little bit. Let's see how that looks. We got about, it's pretty even all the way in. It's ending right about, yeah, we're just about at the right spot, I'd say, for this bowl. And the sides are even. Take a little of this lip away. There we go. Okay. Well, what do you think, guys? Take this off for a second. I gotta fix this a little bit so you get a little bit better picture here, if you can. My phone's covered in dust too. There, okay. That's a little bit better, I think. All right, I'm gonna take the tails, the rest away. The banjo. Set it aside. Let's see if we can sand this out real quick. Get a little finish on it and set aside so we can do something else, okay? Maybe I can catch up with you just a little bit. Okay. The good news here is I think I don't have any places where water would come out. I think I can actually use this like as a fruit bowl or something. Okay, let's put it in reverse. When you do reverse, you can't do this. You have to go this way. See, you have to go this way. Otherwise, you're going to jam up your. If I try and do this over here, it's going to keep trying to take it away from me. So, go up here. Okay. It's got a little bit right in here. You know what? I'm going to do just a touch more right here. I don't like the way that feels. And this is the time to do that rather than wait until you're all done and then go, oh crap, I wish I'd have done it. So let's get in there. Maybe I'll use my smaller scraper here. And I'm just gonna take this off right here just a little bit. Oh, gotta get turned the right way too. Yeah, it's getting there. That's a little better. Now I'll go with the big one. Actually, I'll go to my negative rake scraper and see if I can't just even it out just a little bit more. Just a little bit. There we go. As I said, oh yeah, that's much better. Now I don't feel that ripple in there. There was a little tiny hump. Good. I used to be just happy that I could turn the hole and I just, take everything off and I go, oh crap, I wish I'd have done that, later on. So you learn over time that it's worth going back and doing it just a little bit more to get it right. Okay, now, real quick again. With this. Okay. Good. Go to the 120. Okay. Do a little reverse on that. Yeah, it's already feeling smoother. There you go. We'll get one more. Last one, I promise. Forward. There we go. I'm going to take my vacuum on that. Okay, for those of you that have been sticking around, as soon as I put the pre-stain on this, I'll show you something that I turned yesterday. Actually, a couple things I turned yesterday that a lot more color than this does. Let's get this going. There you go. You can dance if you got someone to dance with. Go ahead and dance to the music in the background there. Sometimes it's just nice to have some noise in the background, besides the motor noise. I guess in the 40s they would make music about just about anything. There we go.
The crack of the bat.
Now,
And the roar of the crowd. 1940s entertainment at its finest.
Couple international hit in 56 games.
Count a streak of your own. Tune into Sirius XM 40s Junction.
so what do you think? Is that looking pretty good? Okay, I'm gonna take this off. Yeah, I'll get a chance to talk to you guys for just a minute. That truck held up pretty well. Can't complain about it one bit. And there we go. I'll work on the tenon later, and I'm gonna obviously do more finish to this, but I think we can call this one done for now. Okay. So, what do you guys think? Yeah, a 3/4 scraper kind of helped out at the end there, didn't it? You're right. Big blow in less than an hour. That's not too bad, considering I had to keep the speed down a little bit. And now you can see my hands. Good Lord, they even filled up these little pinhole pockets. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Hang on a second here. There's my floor. And that's all the stuff we took off of this. So I'm going to do a quick vacuuming. If any of you need to go pee, now's the time to go do it. Not going to be much to watch here for the next few minute or so while I do this, but we will be jumping into something new and as soon as I get a second here. Okay, so give me like 30 to 60 seconds to get things cleaned up, and we will continue. Meanwhile, I'll even give you an entertaining thing. Here you go. There you go. Okay. Put all the tools back where they belong. We'll probably do a little bit of sharpening before we go on to the next one. For those of you that haven't been here before, or haven't seen a couple of my videos on this, I have a shop vac that you notice is pretty quiet because I knocked about 30 decibels off of it by creating a sound breakup chamber. If you have any questions about that, feel free to contact me or watch my video on it where I talk about my vacuum. It's really handy. I don't lose any of the suction, but I lose 30% of the noise factor, so I can actually talk while my shop vac is on, and I don't wake the neighbors up if I'm out in the shop at night running it, because honestly, you step outside the door, you can't hardly hear it at all. But it does do a really good job. Okay. Now the floor on me. I really got to vacuum myself off here. And again, we talk about the difference between what a vacuum is and what a dust collector is. The vacuum is what I'm using right now to vacuum up all this dirt. And it's only effective within about 1 inch of the dirt, because it doesn't move volume of air, it uses pressure. And that dust collection uses a lot of volume of air, creates the pressure around it so that it picks up dust from many inches up to a foot away or more. So dust collection, big difference. So if you're out there just saying, I've got a dust collector and it's a shop vac, that's not a dust collector. That is a vacuum cleaner. It will pick up a little bit of dust, but it's mostly for large particles, and it'll pick a little of the dust up along the way. See if I can swing you over here. I'd like to see what this looks like as I do it. This thing really moves a lot of dirt all at once. And it's not going to move at all, obviously. I'm just doing the big stuff right now. Okay, there we go. Not perfectly clean right now, but at least I can walk around and not start a fire with friction or something. There we go. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put this aside. Now yesterday, or sorry, a couple days ago, a friend brought me a piece of cypress. And we were trying to identify it at first. We weren't sure what it was. But it's, as you can see, it's got a lot of red in it. It's got a lot of, it's got a lot of figuring in it. And I turned the outside of it and made a little tenon here. Not sure if I want to turn that. And then I got a bigger piece here that I always have set up too. So if you like, I could try and do this. This is really, 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 really hard. I mean, it doesn't even make a dent in the wood, okay? So that's one way we can go. I have promised also that I would turn a piece of sequoia, because that came up in the conversation with Ryan the other day, and I know he was turning a piece, and I thought that, in fact, he was turning a piece. I gave him a couple pieces to turn a while back, but and I think Mike had one too. But this came from a neighbor who took down a huge sequoia tree in his front yard, and they gave me some pieces to turn. I took one of them, made a nice bowl for the neighbor and took it over to them. And I actually did a video on that called a bowl from a neighbor's tree. And I always do that. I always take and make a new bowl for a person who gives me a piece of wood out of it, and then I keep the rest of the pieces for myself. So I've got this piece of sequoia that we can do, and also have another piece of that oak. This one I attached with a poplar piece, and I glued it on because there's not a whole lot here, as you can see. Kind of like that one I turned a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to see if I could turn this with this on, and then pop that off and see what we come up with. But this is already the bottom. I'm not going to mess with it except maybe round it just a little bit, and make some sort of candy dish or something out of this, and leave the rocky edge on it, I think. Don't know. So what would you guys like to see? You want me to do the cypress or the oak or the sequoia? And if you can't spell sequoia, it's SEQ, and that's enough, and I know the rest. So anybody? So Michael hasn't slept. Well, I think we need to let Michael sleep sometime here. Little cat naps here and there, that's fine. Any comments on that? I'm still waiting to see if anybody wants. Anybody has a particular opinion on what we should be turning? If not, I think I'll go with the sequoia just to see what we can do with that, because it's pretty wood. But I also want to turn this cypress, but boy is it hard. I think I can pass on the other oak for now. I've done enough damage with the oak for today. Maybe we'll save that for another day. Well, we could. What do you think of this? It has a really nice sheen to it, doesn't it? And that does look a little like sequoia does.
Service at Sound 40s Junction.
Hey, Woodshed. So, what again? Anybody have a preference? If not, I'm just going to go ahead and pick one myself. These are easy to jack up. Let's go with the sequoia. It's a little bit softer. Won't beat me up quite so badly. If I keep playing that music in the background, Michael's going to fall asleep. See how we're doing there. Just want to mark that. Okay, helmet on. Let's see what we can do, what kind of damage we can do here. Now I'll see if I can do it with this blade. Okay. And the hard part about sequoia is it is a very soft wood. So when you're trying to figure out what you want to do for a tenon, you kind of have to think, do I want to go in or go out? And I think we're going to do a little trick here. If I can do it. Let's see. See if we can do that. That gives me some idea here. I'll show you a little trick. That's pretty good. I managed to stab myself. Huh. Okay. Sorry, I was bleeding a little bit more than I should have there. There we go. Okay. Now we'll take this out. Need to raise that up just a hair. Okay, now what this is this is slightly below the grade of here. So what's going to happen is when I'm pushing out, I'm not just pushing against this ring of wood, I'm also pushing against all of this wood, so it actually has full protection in the wood. I'm not just going into this mortise that's kind of unprotected, because this could split off at any time. So it's just a little trick. Just go slightly below what you have there. I'm just going to clean that out a little bit. Okay. See how my going in there? Yeah, that's going to go in there just fine, I think. Yep, there we go. Yep, that's going to fit in there just fine. Just like to double check myself before I go off on any weird directions or anything. Okay, now the outside. You should be able to turn this one pretty quick. I got a little bit of a chip out right there, so we're gonna have to go a little deeper. Okay, got our shape. Let's go to a I think this is just about soft enough at this point. I could probably go, well, let me do this. Got this thin one here. And something broke out there just a little bit. Let's see what it is. Okay. Form. Now, I'm going to use a little scraper here. Okay, that is smoothed out. And let's see. I can use this one here. There we go. Nice. Okay. Need to do a little. Let's see, I'll use this one. Do a little right here. There. Okay. I gotta say, I do appreciate you guys all being here. And I do appreciate Michael helping us all out. And hopefully the rest of you are enjoying the rest of this as we go. See how many people we got in here right now. Got 99 watching at the moment. Make sure you're hitting that like button, please. It does help me a little bit. I'm going to scrape this out just a little bit more. Keep having little rough spots I want to get taken out before I turn this around. This should be a quick bowl, but I just want to make sure we got everything. see if we got that. There's a little bit of stuff that's out there. Don't know if I can take that out or not. And the thing about sequoia is it looks a lot like redwood, of course, and it looks very plain sort of when you start, but when you put some finish on it, it really comes out. So we're gonna do a little bit of sanding on it right now. Before we turn it around. Let me turn this on for a minute. Sorry about the sound. We got end grain here. So whenever you have end grain, you also have little spots that fill up. There we go. Shape a little bit. Reverse. Very lightly, don't press down on it. Don't press down on you, that's when you get your gouging. Taking all that little end grain stuff out best I can. With soft wood like this, it's really better not to spin and just do your sanding just like this. Because it's too easy to get in there and gouge quickly. It's really hard to get it out. Be really careful. Okay. And lastly, we'll do the 240. We'll put a different kind of finish on this one. This time we'll do a little Maybe I'll do a little of my tried and true. Anyway, I gotta open this up anyway. So we'll mix this up a little bit. Helps if you take the top off. Hey. You know what? I'm not going to fight this right now. I'll go back to my old tried and true. This is tung oil. And it's mixed with a little bit of lemon seed, which is a lemon oil. It really gets into this wood. And if you let it sit for about 24 hours, it'll really harden up. But you can already see how that's sucking it all in. Everything I just put in there is already gone. See that? It's already gone. There we go. And we're going to go in here. And I like to do this. I like to get just the inside, because that hardens that wood just a little bit more by moisturizing it. I don't want to take this away because I need to write my name in there later. But I like to do just this edge. And it'll get in there and it'll soak the wood and it'll harden it up just a little bit more. Give me just a little bit better grip when I go in to flip this around. So what do you think? Does that start to look like good wood? The last breath you used tung oil too, huh? Yeah, it does harden when it gets in there and it sucks in really good. It sucks in really good. I'm going to give it a second coat just because it sucked in that first one so much. The real technique, of course, is you keep putting it on until it just pools up and you wipe off what's pooled up and you're done. But we're doing a live and we really don't have the time to do all of that. So we're going to do it kind of the shortcut method for now, and I'll have to go back and finish it up later. But even as I come around, it's already drying before my brush gets around to the other side again. See how fast that's drying up. All that I just put on there is already sucked in. This stuff is thirsty. And the funny thing is, this tree was just felled about 6-7 weeks ago. So it should still have some moisture in it. But so far, it's worked pretty much like regular wood, not like green wood. And I know that question came up earlier about green wood. Normally I would turn this, I would turn the inside and leave about 10%. Then we go back in a couple months and maybe return it. But I don't think I'm going to have any warping problem in this case because look how much it's sucking in what I'm giving it. This is just crazy. And it feels really nice, by the way. And because I put that lemon in there, it also smells really, really good. So it's got, it actually leaves a nice scent, lemon scent on it, or citrus scent. The lemon scene is all natural. It doesn't, it's food safe in a sense. And, but always when you get tung oil, make sure you're getting 100% tung oil, not the stuff that has other additives in it. You want to get 100% tung oil. In fact, that's what you really should get out of all of your ones. Don't get these other ones like Danish oil and stuff is actually just a mixture of other oils. It's really not something called Danish oil. So, well, there we go. I'm going to take this off. And I know what you're going to say. Boy, that was a lot of overkill putting an 8-screw piece on here, and you're absolutely right. But it was the faceplate I had available at the time, and so I did it. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. And this faceplate has a little extra to it that I really like. It's got a screw in the center, so when you're trying to put it right in the center, you can like drill a tiny pilot hole and screw this right in so you're perfectly in the middle of where you want to be. And here's the last one. Oops. There we go. You see this one has a little screw in it. And that little screw goes right in there. Make sure it's right dead center. That really helps. Alright. Put this on here. Boy, this, after lifting that oak one, this thing is so light, I'm going to pick it up and toss it across the room. Now, if I made that good and flat on the bottom, well, a little bit off. Let me see here. If I made that mortise properly, oh wow, I shouldn't be getting that kind of a wobble from it. I'm going to have to take this off and take a peek in here. There's nothing in there. There, we're getting a little better. There we go. Sometimes you just need a little encouragement. Very slight wobble, but I can live with that. I think I can work with that. Okay. Okay, so we've given it a little bit of a look on the outside. Let's see what we can do to the inside. We did carbides and we did gouges and we've done scrapers. I don't know if you can do a full one with a. We could do a full one with a scraper on this, but I'm going to use a spindle gouge here. Something you're not supposed to use for everything, but I'm going to use a spindle gouge here to set my edge. Okay. Now, I think I'll go in with this one. Let's see what we can do here. So, you can see that turns pretty easily. Check my tenon. Okay, I want to clear off this this side here, this edge just a little bit. Let's get that cleaned up. What do you think, gang? You know, I got to say before everyone leaves here that I got to say that working with Whacking Shack and Ryan and Timber and some of the others, and none of them used to turn, and kind of getting them on the road to turning kind of rekindled my want to get back out of the shop and do more turning too. I mean, I was doing some turning, but I really respect what they've been doing and how fast they've been learning, and it's really making it a lot easier for me to go back out and challenge myself to do some more things too. So it works both ways. When you teach other people, it helps you learn also. Okay, were you watching that ride up as it went? The way it meets up? Now we got about this much more to go. There's plenty to go still. Okay. Let's take the feeler gauge here and just see where we're at. Okay, we are, as you can see, we're about a half an inch or so from the edge on there. And we are only about, well, we got about, if you see it, about this much to go on the bottom. So a little less on the bottom, a little bit more on the sides. Let's see if we can't get this squared away here. I think now's the time to pull out the scraper. Make sure we're even across here. And we're going to go down. See how that looks. So I got to be really careful right here because where I dipped in, that's kind of thin. I think I can try and scoop out just a hair more out here. Okay, let's see if we can use this is my homemade negative rake scraper. Sorry about that. My homemade negative rake scraper. think the rest of that will come out with a sander. I'm going to take one more swipe with this one. A little bit different angle to this. Sorry. There we go. That's why sometimes you need more than a couple tools, because you can refine your work just a little bit. Let's see how this one comes out. Rest away. Now. Ooh, buried my towel. Okay, let's see if we can do here. Sorry about that, I moved it a little bit. There we go. All right, we're gonna sand this out real quick, put some finish on it, and we'll be done with this one. Yeah, it's gonna need this. It's real sandy and it's real dusty wood. Okay, here we go. A little. Now you can see how much that takes off, so you really don't need to do much to it. Boy, that's really soft already. It's smooth already, and it's only a 120 grit. We'll do 240. I don't think I have to go up to 400 on this because it's pretty polished already. Okay. Hey, there we go. big bowl, one small bowl. Put some finish on the inside of this. I'm gonna suck it up before I can even put the brush to it. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And there we go. We just finished another bowl. I can stop for a second. We can have a little something to drink. Join the rest of you here. All right, guys, I'm going to see if I can adjust this just a little bit here. Just give me a second. Okay. Here I am. Let's see what you guys have to say. I'll drink a little bit of water. As you can see, I'm well soaked. This is this is from Rockler, this apron, by the way, and it is really nice because it goes all the way around the neck, so nothing goes down here. I kind of like that. See, last breath. I'm gonna put some cheaters on just because it's easier. I'm old. Yeah, there is a little bit of chatoyance in there, and as soon as that dries off just a bit so I can touch it, I'll show it to you a little bit better. It's resting at the moment. Red cedar has the same still. Yeah, it does. Yeah, red cedar looks a lot like this. Sequoia looks like, well, they're all from the same family. This is a man-sized smuck, and I'm a man-sized guy, if you haven't noticed. Although I'm losing weight, I must say I am losing weight. I've been taking Ozempic, and but not because of that, but because of other things. One thing I did want to cover before we finish today is there's a little story that goes behind all of this. When I was a small boy, there was a man up the street, an older gentleman, and Mr. Ling was his name. And Mr. Ling liked to do small lathe work, but he was doing it with plastics and with others and wood, and he would make figurines and so forth. And he was really, really good at it. It was like having Geppetto in your neighborhood, because he made all these little puppet-like things. He made an incense burner that you lifted the body of the character and you put a little cone of incense in, you closed it, and after you lit it, and the smoke would come out of the pipe that the character was holding. And this character was only about this big, so he had to ream out a very tiny little line for that smoke to come out of the pipe. And he was just wonderful at it. And I used to just sit there fascinated for hours watching this man work. And he had a daughter who was a mute, actually a deaf mute, much older than me, but she was very mentally challenged at the same time. So my sister and I used to play with her, and all her life basically, and even after Mr. Ling passed, um, her parents took care of her all her life. And in those days, of course, you didn't send kids like that to school, unfortunately. And so anyway, so that stayed with me all my life, Mr. Ling and his woodworking. And so whenever I had a chance to start making my own workshop and so forth, I did that and thought of him a lot because I wanted to be able to do. I'm never going to be able to do things that he did, but at least I was able to get out a lathe and do some other woodworking projects and build most of the things in the shop. And so I think all of us have an inspiration out there. And so whatever your inspiration is, or your inspiration story, share that story with others and let them know what it is that gets you in the shop. And maybe they can take from that also and decide what their inspiration is too. Or maybe you're the inspiration for the next person. So, okay. Well, I'm going to take a little sip here, and then we're going to take this bowl and see what it looks like. Oh, that tastes good. Okay. Boy, this thing weighs nothing. I mean, it literally weighs nothing. Okay, so here's the bowl. And I think you can see it. And that's the inside. Oh, got a little hair from that. Okay. Wipe that out. Get that wiped out a little bit. There we go. So now you can see it. And there's the outside. And this literally weighs probably 3 ounces, maybe. It's nice and thin. And you always got to be careful of that because you do have things like, if you notice right here, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny crack. So I got to make sure I get a good finish on this so that crack does not start to break and widen, because that can happen really quick. Come up on you in something like this, especially when you turn it thin. So always inspect your product. After you've turned it, make sure you go back and inspect it again, because that can really happen. I don't know if I can get close enough for you to see that, but there it is. And it goes down to about here. And I don't see it on the outside, which is good. So it hasn't started to spread apart yet. So if we can get a good finish on this pretty quickly, should be able to arrest that so that we don't get a cracked bowl. But something you always have to watch out for. So there we have that. And I did want to share this with you. This was a pear bowl I did yesterday. And you can see it. See the colors in there. There's green, there's brown, there's red. And I'll show you what the inside looks like. It's even almost flaming. I don't know if you can. Let me see if I can get the light up in there a little better. I love this ridge that goes in here as it goes around. So this live edge bowl was made from a pear tree. And it had to be a pretty big pear tree because you're talking about a pear tree. Remember, when you cut a bowl, you remove the pith. So it has to be twice as wide as this, minus about 1 inch or so of the pith. I also had to be really careful because you notice that it had some built-in cracks in the wood. So I had to work around those. I did do a mortise tenon in here. And again, I did the same thing I did with this one. I made this deeper so that the outside wood here would hold it, but it doesn't really take away from the depth of the bowl because, by golly, I turned down to within about maybe 1/8 or so of 1 inch of the bottom, maybe a little bit more, but it's pretty darn close. This has really good bark on it that really sticks, holds well. I love this part of it where it has that. You can see the layers of the tree growth as it goes. But I thought this was a beautiful piece, So there's just a couple, plus the big one we did today. Here's our, well, it's now dried up a little bit. Now it's going to be ready for a finish. I think I'll use I don't know if I'll use shellac on this or what, but I think it's looking really nice. And okay, well, unless there's any other questions out there, I think we'll call it a day. And I really do appreciate you guys all being here. And if there's anything I can do for any of you at any time, just let me know, hit me up. I'm on a lot of these lives with other people. I jump in and out from time to time, so if I'm on there, grab me and say, hey Jeff, I got a question. Be happy to help you. And hopefully you'll help me when I have questions too. Other than that, I hope you all have a great day. Please, if you haven't already, like or subscribe or leave me a comment. I would love to have comments. I will be posting this in my playlist later on, so it'll be available for everyone to see. But yeah, thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you all soon. I'm probably going to try and do this every Thursday if I can, or every other Thursday.
You